Anyway, he's back now. He's composed himself a little bit. So he's now ready to be the consummate professional that he is. And I'll now hand you over to the host of the ALB podcast, or the AL podcast, as we called it earlier.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamerton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Bit of a change of setup. I'm doing the intro. Isn't that exciting? After 48 episodes, it's now my turn to do that. Isn't that great? It's only taken me 4 times of trying.
It's taken a couple of takes, hasn't it?
Yes, but we got there, so that's brilliant. I'm here with John.
Hey, hello.
No special guests, just John today.
They don't come much more special, do they, really?
Quite. So, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, yeah.
Excellent. I had my turn under the spotlight last episode.
You did.
So now it's your turn for me to do some grilling of you.
Okay, my turn for the interrogation.
Interrogation, yes.
Go. Turn that spotlight on me then.
So 2018, how was that for you?
It was good. It was eventful. We had lots going on. We've taken on an MD in the main sports betting business. We've grown the 1% Club. I haven't written a book this year, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of pressure I put on myself last year. We've done some angel investments. So we've got some new businesses launched. Overall, I think it's been a very, very busy, very productive year and a very enjoyable year, I think.
Good. We'll dive into some of those aspects as we go on through this 3 or 4 hour grilling.
3 or 4 hours? Oh, my God.
Yes, no. So, question everybody wants to know, resolution. Did you crack your resolution to play more golf?
Well, I did. It wasn't difficult based on my previous level of playing golf, which I think 2017, I may have gone to the driving range once.
Okay.
So, my resolution was to play more golf. A little bit of concept behind that. I think 2 years prior to that, I decided that I was taking up golf. And so I asked for a set of clubs for Christmas, which I duly got. 2 weeks before Christmas, I was playing badminton and I slipped over, fell on my elbow, popped my shoulder out of its socket and ended up injuring myself rather badly, which I then needed surgery on. And basically those clubs sat in my garage for, I think, 2 years, just gathering dust. So last December, January time was the first time I thought, actually, do you know what? I reckon this shoulder can withstand the power that I have, like harnessed within me.
Graceful.
to actually whack those shots. So I thought, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to play more golf.
So there was a bit more context to that as well, wasn't it? Because I think everywhere that we kind of went, somebody asked, "Oh, do you do golf?
Yes.
Do you play golf?
Yeah.
Do you play golf?" And it's kind of like they kept nudging into our circle, didn't they?
Yeah. Lots of people within our network or our extended network were saying exactly that. Do you play golf? No, but I'd like to. And now the answer is, yeah, kind of. I suppose you could call it playing golf.
It's one step up.
But actually, having had that, here we are a year on, having had those conversations with people, they are exactly the same. It's like, I wouldn't call it playing. I've only been batting the ball around for 5 years. Everyone thinks they're worse players than they are. Mm-hmm. We have certainly achieved the objective of playing more golf. I've probably played 3 complete rounds of golf. Mm-hmm. Several holes of 9 and then one of 18, which was on one of the hottest days of the year. We teed off at 8 a.m., which seemed lovely. Mm-hmm. And by 10:30, the sweat was just pouring off me. And it was just, amazing just how sapping that was. Thankfully, we had a buggy. Because if we hadn't have had a buggy, I wouldn't have had any breeze as we drove between holes and I would have just died. But I got around, which I didn't think I was going to be able to because, this was a proper golf course. It was Jack Nicklaus designed, and all these proper professional golfers, not professional golfers, but these they're not pros. They are
players.
They're players, and in my mind, they are real golfers.
Mm-hmm.
That are there. They're serious about their game, and they've been playing for 40 years. And then I rock up,
having a handicap,
having had a few lessons, and I think, oh my god, because I know that if you go back to when I was playing that round, which would have been in the summer, so it would have been probably 5 months ago now, I was not very good. And I know that my tee shots went off to the right almost every time. 80-90% of my tee shots veered off to the right. I think I've corrected that now because I've had lots of coaching, I've had lots of lessons. But in my mind, I had it, oh my God, I don't belong here. This isn't for me. And that was the blocker that I think had stopped me playing golf before, is, oh my God, it's scary because there's all these rules. You have to wear the right clothes. You have to have the right etiquette, and you have to, all these right things you have to do on the golf course. So all these rules, all these regulations. And actually that creates this barrier of, oh my God, I don't belong here. And then once you've played a few rounds, you realise that actually everybody's just faking it, and nobody
one big show.
And nobody takes it that seriously. Probably at a certain level, once you start entering competitions, that probably is taken very seriously. But the majority of players on a golf course also have rubbish shots. It's just that they do it 1 in 10, 1 in 20, whereas I was doing it 18 out of 20 shots were bad.
Anybody who has been going around with John in a round of golf, he does really think you take it seriously. Just in case, you know. What lesson have you learned out of playing golf then, would you say, maybe from the instruction and stuff you've been having?
I think
Mr. King of routine.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think it's consistency is the first thing. Any golfer who's been playing for any length of time will tell you it's all about consistency. And the amount of times I've been on the range having some coaching, and I've just hit a peach of a shot, and then I've just looked over to the coach and gone, well, I haven't done anything different to the shot that was bloody awful just now. So why can't I do that every time? And that is the refrain of just about every golfer everywhere, is when you hit a shot exactly as you want to, why can't I do that every time? And I think that's the same in business, is sometimes you hit it out of the park. Sometimes it's, you just have a brilliant day, you're on fire. We were at a coaching event last night and someone said, I'd written out these 6 things I want to do every day. And on one day, he's like, well, it's midday and I've done them all. Christ, why can't I do this every day? And it is that, but is that level of consistency. And I think most business owners don't have a level of consistency. And certainly that's where I'm striving with my golf. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not aiming to be a professional golfer here or, compete at any sort of level. I just want to improve. And I think that's a big driver for me in my personal life anyway, is to just, if I do something, I want to improve at it. I want to get better. I want to grow at what it is that I do. And then I'll reach a level where I don't want to go any further. We've seen it with our businesses. That's why we have lifestyle businesses, is because we grow these businesses. We get them to a stage we're very, very happy with. And we could carry on growing and keep on making more money, but that's going to require an expenditure of time, an expenditure of energy,
a commitment
of headspace. It is a commitment, yeah. And that's a commitment that we're not necessarily willing to do. And it's the same with golf. We could say, well, actually, I'm going to do an hour on the range every morning, and I'm going to do an hour on the range every evening. I'm going to play 5 rounds every week. And I'm going to get my handicap down to this level, and then I'm going to enter competitions. I'm going to win these competitions, and then I'm going to represent the county. I could do that, but back to my magic ingredients in the book I wrote last 2017 was desire. I don't have the desire to do that. I have the desire to enjoy playing golf, and at the moment I have a desire to get better at it, because the only source of frustration I have with golf at the moment is my inconsistency with, I've lined up, I've prepared everything, I've done my shot as I want to, and it's gone in the complete wrong direction to where I want, or I've just, got under the shot too much. And it's, I've done a few shots in the driving range with my driver, which have nearly hit the roof.
Oh, I did that. I did that. One of my challenging things, the very first recording that I did when I was on the driving range, I hit it and it literally went vertical, went up here, hit the wall behind and just missed the guy in the bay next door. And that was on video. That was an outtake. I've got it somewhere, but it was an outtake.
Everyone's done it. I mean, even, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, they've done it at some point. But I guarantee they don't do it anymore because they know exactly why that is and they've ironed out and they have that consistency because they put in Malcolm Gladwell was always talking about the 10,000 hour rule. Well, I imagine those guys have actually put in probably more like 70 or 80,000 hours because that is their dedication. That is what they are mastering. And I'm not looking to master golf. I'm looking to get better at it and enjoy it.
Excellent. So you talked about desires. What other desires do you have at the minute?
So, it's that time of year, isn't it, where we do start thinking about what's going to happen next year, planning out the goals. I always put together a vision board. Normally do that before the end of the year. So look, everyone sits down like 31st of January, and 31st of December rather, and plans out what they're going to achieve, what they're going to do that year. I like to do mine in October because by the 1st of January, I want to have hit the ground running. I want to have actually already ticked a few off for my plan. And I also like to give myself a little bit of pressure there because when I set my goals for the year, I actually want to have achieved them by October. Right. I'm setting my 2019 goals now, but by October 2019, I want to have basically knocked all of them off. Or if there's one or two that haven't, I know I'm going to hit them.
It's not about giving yourself 15 months for your 12 months then. It's more a case of actually I've still got 12 months and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I've got 12 months and it's challenging. And, so in terms of what I want to do next year, there is a golf challenge on there, which is, so last year was very loose, play more golf. And that was an easy target to achieve. But I've actually smashed that target. So the target was do more than play.
The first day you went out, you beat that.
Well, I've done a few rounds at the driving range, so I probably had to do more than 7 hours in a year, and I've probably done 40 hours of coaching every Tuesday night. I've been at the driving range with a coach, getting purposeful practice, and I've played those 3 rounds. So next year, my criteria isn't playing more golf because the only way I can do that is to put in more hours. And one of the things we're always saying is that working harder, putting in more hours isn't the answer. So what I want to do at the moment, after a year of playing more golf, getting some coaching, I don't have a handicap still. So my goal for that next year is get a handicap, which I want to do quite early in the year, and then improve upon that handicap. So I'm not setting myself any levels of I need to be this handicap by the end of the year. But what I am saying is I intend testing myself, finding out where I am in, say, March or April when it's actually decent weather to go out and play around.
Yep.
And then I want to say, okay, that's the marker. And through coaching, through purposeful practice, I will continue with weekly, even throughout the winter, I'll still be doing my hour at the range every week. I will still improve. And I want to see over the course of the year in 2019, I want to see an improvement in that official handicap. So no pressure in terms of I have to reach this level, but I have to monitor where I am and I have to improve upon that over the year through coaching and practice.
Cool.
What else have I got on this? So
that's kind of your personal goal, is it? Would you say, or is it? Because I know you love your big ones, don't you? Yeah. And that's the kind of things. And I know your vision board's got kind of 20 things on it.
Oh, at least.
Would that say you're kind of, what's your personal big one, if you like, for next year? Is it that, or have you got something else personal?
I think my personal thing is how I spend my time. There's been a realization this year that I say yes to too much.
That's one of my next questions.
It's a common thing that lots of people do, and we see it in our the 1% club where people will just say, I'm completely overwhelmed, and there's too much going on, and we say, okay, yeah, but you're saying yes to things. Well, yeah, I know, but all these opportunities are coming my way, and I think it's that realization that I value my time above all else. I was listening to a podcast with Tim Ferriss probably about 4 months back now. No, it wasn't that long ago, actually. It was only a couple of months. It was when I was planning out my 2019 goals. I was starting to think about it. It was just percolating. And Tim was being interviewed by, or he's having a chat with the guy from Adobe. And Tim posed this hypothetical question, okay, how do you think I would react to this situation? He described the situation whereby he was trying to do some voluntary work for a charity. And he explained to the charity, cool, I'd love to do some voluntary work for you. I'm available Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons. And then the charity came back to him and said, yeah, cool, we'd love to have you on board. We've scheduled you in for Friday mornings and Sunday evenings. And so Tim said to the other guy, how do you think I'm going to react to this? And the guy from Adobe said, well, knowing you as I do, you are going to tell them to go screw themselves. You're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Your toys are going to completely go out the pram because you value time above all else. And then I remember exactly where I was. I was walking the dog. I had my noise cancelling headphones on, and I'm walking the dog, and I literally had to stop, take my phone out of the pocket, rewind the podcast, and listen to that line. And I listened to it 5 times in a row, and I was like, time above all else. And then in that moment, because at the time we've done some property investment this year, and it's been horrendous for me in terms of being hands-on investment. Realization I found with certainly property investment is I do not want to be a hands-on property investor. There's great money to be made investing in property, but I think you need to be of the right mindset. If you are happy to be dealing with letting agents, tenants, leaky taps, Wi-Fi that doesn't work, council tax departments, water departments, EDF energy, and the bane of my life, which was talk this year, then happy days. But for me, the return on investment I got from that did not justify the time investment. And it got to a stage whereby we had a little WhatsApp group set up for this particular property investment. And all I needed to see was a notification on my phone that there was a message from that group. And I would just go, no, do I have to? And it didn't even matter what the message was. It just instantly, oh God, do I have to deal with something else? What's happened now? So yeah, I went back and listened to that line again and again and again. Time above all else. And so the very top corner of my vision board for 2019 is a picture of a clock, and it says time above all else. And in that moment, that was the realization that, right, in 2019, all my property investments need to be hands-free. So I've got business partners who can lighten the load, and I need to just make sure that they do. We need to sell some opportunities. We need to say no to some things. I've literally already cut ties with one of the property deals. So there you go. Already achieved one of my goals for 2019.
For those in the video.
But yeah, it was that realization that is what I value. And it's very, very easy to go, but John, there's more money to be made here. There's loads of money to be made in property. You've got this cash that you're making in the business. Put that into property, you'll make loads of money. Brilliant. The only thing is that's not going to be a passive investment. And we were talking, I think, on one of our coaching calls yesterday about, is there such a thing as passive investment? And there are, but that involves leaving it in a bank where you're going to earn 0.25%. That's passive. If you want a greater return than that, you're going to need to put some work in, either to set up the investment or to monitor it or to tweak it to make sure it's right. So I like semi-passive investments, but for me, I like investing in businesses. That's what's given us the best return over the years, and that's what I enjoy. When I get a message from one of our angel investments saying there's a problem or there's an opportunity, and I get that on my phone, I go, oh, what can we do here? And it's sleeves up. Let's crack on and let's solve this problem. Let's send out a sales letter. Let's hire a member of staff. Let's do it. Whereas when it was a property issue, it just really didn't interest me.
They don't tend to ring you up and say, John, the internet's not working.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's usually something you can have a handle on, isn't it? Which is great. So obviously not saying yes to everything means you have to say no to things. How are you going to do that? Because it's a really hard thing to do. I'm kind of guilty of saying yes to perhaps anybody who asks for anything. And they're just like, oh yeah, of course I can, because I like to help and I like to do, and I can rearrange things to make things happen. So how are you going to say no?
I think you've got to apply that filter, and it is that's why I've got that front of mind. So my vision board is set as my backtop on my laptop. So every time I fire it up, I'm going to see that image, time above all else. So I want that to be subliminally in my head that is my only filter. So it's no longer, if someone comes to me with an opportunity, the first thing I evaluate should not be how good an opportunity is this. It should be, is this going to bring me more time, or is this going to eat more of my time than I need it to? Because there are several opportunities that we've looked at over the last month or so, which we could do, or we could have done. And it's very easy to sit there and go, well, actually, this could make us X amount of money. But I've also got to apply that filter of how much of my time is this going to take up? Well, actually, that's going to take up half a day a month. Doesn't sound a lot, half a day a month, but most people couldn't actually squeeze an extra 4 or 5 hours into their working month. I think it's almost needs to be a default now. So I'm working at capacity, and I think there's a question that I always sort of say to people when I'm coaching them is, if you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? Because everybody knows the work expands to fill the time you allocate to it. So if you come to me with an opportunity and I say yes to it, I've got to fit that into an already full schedule. So what do I throw out? And that's that criteria. Whereas most people go, well, I'll work harder, I'll stay later, I'll work faster. I will go, no, well, okay, if you want me to do this, that's great, but something's got to give. And is it my time with my family? Is that what you think I should not do? Is it my leisure time? Is it my fitness time? Or is it time for one of my other businesses? And there will be opportunities for time to free itself up. So as we exit businesses, as we do a lot of our investments, we're time heavy in the beginning, in the early days. So, once one of our angel investment businesses has been up and running for a year or 18 months, all of a sudden we're not going to be spending half a day a month. We're maybe spending half a day a quarter. Well, that frees up a little bit of time for other opportunities. I am releasing my next book in 2019. So I've blocked out a week next week to actually break the back of that book and get 30,000 words in the bank. I've made time for that. I've not found the time. It's impossible to find time. And that was my big lesson from writing the book I wrote it in 2017, was I was trying to fit it in around everything else I was doing, which the only way I could do that was to work 70-hour weeks again and just to work every weekend and every evening. And even then, things slipped, juggling too many balls, spinning too many plates, and things crashed to the ground. I got very stressed, very overwhelmed. That's not going to happen this time because I value my time above all else. Hence, again, another big mistake I made with Big Ideas for Small Businesses was saying, this book will come out on the 21st of June. And I publicly said that before I'd even written the book. This is when it's coming out. So Routine Machine, my next book, will be coming out in 2019.
2019, that's
my deadline. That's this year, because remember, this is not pre-recorded, is it?
No, that's
We're
right.
We're not recording this in November,
It's nice and live, isn't it?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you had a good Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas?
I had a lovely Christmas.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it.
Do you not?
No, lots of food, lots of rubbish TV on. It's glorious days, wasn't it?
Excellent. I mean, one of the ways that you kind of find more time, if you need to, is outsourcing. And you outsource a lot of things, don't you?
Anything I can.
Anything. My question, though, is what's the next thing you're going to outsource?
Next time I outsource. If I could find someone to do the podcast for me.
Some say I already have somebody else doing the podcast.
Or, playing that golf for me. I don't know. It's an automatic filter for me. So as soon as I decide to do something, I immediately think, who can help me do this, or who can do this instead of me? So probably my big task for 2019 is going to be getting that book out. My job with that next year is very much going to be writing the book and marketing the book and anything else. So the cover design, the proofreading, the editing, the formatting, everything like that needs to be done by someone else. And I did get some help last time, and it made a huge, huge difference. But again, that time pressure that I put on everyone else as well as myself really didn't help. So this time, very early, I'm going to, there's a lovely lady called Colette, who was my book coach last time. I'm going to be going to her a lot earlier this time and saying, hey, here's my manuscript. Guess what? We've got 5 months this time. You know, we had 5 weeks last time. We've got 5 months.
You know, I have booked the 31st of March for your launch.
We got the book launch all set. Yeah.
I've got eggs booked in and everything. We're all good. Which gives you 5 months.
Crazy. How hard can it be?
How hard indeed. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about your personal kind of thing there. What's your business goal this year? What's the one big thing that you want to achieve 2019?
It is to do work that I love. And again, it's that realization that this is, I think, where a lot of my goals come from, is what am I not happy with at the moment that I would like to change? And when I set my goals for 2019, I was dealing with stuff like internet not working, and but there's even things within the main business that I'm doing. I think I shouldn't be doing this, or why are we doing this? Because we don't enjoy this. We don't need to be doing this. We don't need the money, and we don't enjoy doing it. So why are we doing it? And so on my goals vision board, next to time above all else, is a caption that says, I think it's do what you love, never work a day in your life. Well, that's exactly the ethos. It sounds a total cliche, but often there's a lot of truth in those cliches, because why would you want to spend the majority of your waking life doing things you don't enjoy? So what do I enjoy? I enjoy working with small business owners. I like seeing business owners grow. I like growth myself. And I love marketing. I love writing copy. And the amount of times this year I've just sort of dipped a toe in the water and done a little bit of copy and thought, oh my God, I really love this. I really enjoy doing this. Why don't I spend my days doing more writing? Hence now, I'm going to write the book next year. I'm going to put no pressure on myself. But I didn't enjoy writing the last book because of the pressure and trying to squeeze it in amongst everything else. But now I'm determined I'm going to enjoy writing this book, because I actually do enjoy writing. I enjoy writing copy. And it's that, I'm determined this year. One of my big goals is not to do things that I don't enjoy. And, like everyone's going to have to do something that they don't enjoy. I do, unfortunately, have to put in a tax return this year. I do have to pay that tax. There are bills that need paying. There's some admin that only I can do. I fully accept I've got to do that, but I'm going to run everything else through that filter of, do I need to do it? Do I enjoy doing it? If I enjoy doing it, perhaps that's the things I shouldn't outsource. Perhaps I'm currently outsourcing stuff that I enjoy doing that actually I should bring that back in, because although it doesn't make sense from a financial point of view, because it's cheaper to outsource it to someone else and get them to do it, if I enjoy it, that's the most important thing. We're quite fortunate in that, we've been going for 19 years now. We've compounded that snowball down the hill of time for a long, long time. So there's no monetary pressure there that we have to do well, we have to succeed, we have to make loads of money. So the only pressure I'm going to put on myself is to enjoy the time I spend working. And I think
it's interesting you say, actually, because I was listening to something yesterday, I think it was, and they were talking about, I think one of the big corporates had released their pre-tax profits, and it was a good few £1 million profit sort of thing, but it was a little bit down on last year. Yeah. It was all doom and gloom for that particular thing, because they were a couple of million down from where they were the year before. And it's like, they just made several £100 million profit. And yes, it may be down from last year, but that's still profit. Yeah. They're making money. So actually the pressures, I think, that are placed upon people to grow every year and build every year and got to have more cash than you did have last year and all of those kind of things are only pressures that we imply on ourselves and we put on ourselves. And it's just amazing that sometimes the outside view is also that same thing, that actually they think they should be putting that pressure on you to do better and whatever. And that's not true. It is literally, it's to service whatever your need is to do.
I think it's a very human thing to just always want to grow. And if you get your accounts in and you've made 100 grand, it's natural to go, well, I want 150 now. And if you make 150, it's very easy to go, well, should be able to get to 250. And once you get to 250, that's where things get dangerous, because that's where you start thinking, well, we could do 500, we could do 1 million. I mean, we had that a couple of years ago where we were knocking on the door of the £1 million turnover. And so all of our energy went into £1 million turnover. Well, why the hell were we doing that? Because that's just a number. And that's all it was. We were chasing a number on a spreadsheet. Whereas actually the important number was the one at the bottom, which was the net profit, the profit we actually take home from the business, and how much we enjoy doing the work. So I would much rather have a business that has a much lower turnover, doing much less work, makes quite good money, and I really enjoy doing the work. That's the priority for me now.
Awesome. And family is important to you, and that kind of comes before. And I know that everything kind of changed for you when Jack came along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your whole kind of diary, your whole routine, the whole thing kind of changed about, didn't it? Which it does for most. Most people have that kind of thing. But I'm just thinking, what your family goes off for this year? What's the plan, Stan?
Family goes main one for this year is Jack's taking the 11 plus in September. So he's having a little bit of coaching now. We've got a tutor that comes along every week, and my wife's also a teacher, so she is doing a little bit of coaching, which is very interesting to see the two coaching styles, and also how Jack reacts to the different tutors, because he's much more receptive to an outside coach than he is to his mum coaching him. And it's very interesting, because I will sit at this exact seat at the table to watch what's going on down the other end and think, well, you're not listening now because it's your mum talking, but she's telling you the same things that the other tutor says, and you smile and nod and go, oh, that's a good idea, I like that. And it's very interesting to see that. I think that's probably the main goal. Other than that, it is protection of the time with the family. So I'm very, very mindful. I do the school runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Very mindful. I actually want to be present with them in the mornings. So, I was perhaps guilty earlier last year of getting up in the morning, and I'd get my phone out and I'd be on Facebook and I'd answer a few emails, or just, make my day easier by just clearing a few of the easy stuff out. But actually, by doing that, I'm not talking to the kids about what their day is going to be like, and actually being present with them in that 1 hour window that we've got before school. Same with after school. Once they're home from 3:30, I want to be phone off, laptop shut, not working. And often I've fallen into, well, they're playing the Xbox, I'll just open the laptop, answer a few emails. Very, very easy to do that. Weekends is a trap I also fall into very easily, in terms of, well, just open the laptop, there's nothing much going on. I do work weekends now, but my work tends to be reading these books that are here. So it's a lot of, I would class that as leisure. But although, I'm reading business books, I'm reading marketing books, I'm reading copywriting books. But to me, that's leisure. If I'm on holiday, I've got a Kindle there, I've got the audiobook on, I'm listening to podcasts. That's personal development for me. And but I want to make time for the family at all times. And they're the reason we do this. They're the reason we've designed the business to deliver the time that I can spend with them. So it's not about earning the money that we can go to Disney every year. I'd much rather spend 10 weeks a year with them than 2 weeks a year with them at Disney. Believe me, we went to Disney a couple of years ago, didn't enjoy it very much, actually.
There's a reason why you want to go back again, is it? Biggest win of 2018? Sorry? Biggest win of 2018 for you?
Biggest win? Probably getting the MD in place, I think, because that's going to free up so much of our time to explore other opportunities, other projects. Without having a very good MD in place, I don't think we'd be in the position to do more angel investments. I don't think we'd be I certainly wouldn't be in the position to say, I'm going to write a book this year. Having someone who we know we can trust to run the business, we're not fully exiting the business. We're still involved with the day-to-day, or not not involved with the day-to-day. We're involved with the big overall strategy, the vision. We're still driving the vision of the business, but we've got a managing director in place now who is running the day-to-day. They're running the team, they're managing the team, they're growing. We've obviously driven the targets, but for me, that valuing time above all else, that's going to be the biggest win that we've had, I would say, this year.
Wicked. Regrets?
I've had a few.
Maybe just the one. Maybe just the one then. Maybe just the one.
Going too heavy on the property investments this year, saying yes to too many things, particularly relating to property investments. But I think overall, saying yes to too many opportunities. I say property's been a real learning curve for me. I've spent several years learning it, and I've got some successful property investments. But what I class as successful are the ones where I don't get a phone call for 6 months. And, my most successful one is I get one email once a month, and that email says, "Here's your money."
Right. Fair enough. Oh dear. So anything you want to say about your book that's coming out next year that we haven't covered?
So, the book is called Routine Machine, and it stems from when I was a guest on the One Thing podcast with Jeff Woods, and we were chatting off air, and Jeff just made this side comment to me and said, I said, "You're like the king of routine," because I went into a lot of detail about how anal I am with my routine and how strict I follow it, and how it's just having a set routine has absolutely changed my life. And just, my life runs on kind of autopilot because I've got so many routines. And you said, you're like the king of routine. And something, I don't know, bell just rung in my head, and I just thought, I'm having that. And it just, I toyed with the idea, and ever since I put out Big Ideas for Small Businesses in 2017, everyone's said to me, "When's the follow-up book coming? Are you writing another book?" I said at the book launch, I am never writing another book. And then I flip-flopped between, I am definitely writing another book. No, I'm definitely not writing another book. And then all of a sudden, King of Routine was in my head. I think that was June. I think we did that podcast interview. And I went on holiday and just thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to write down some ideas around routine, about how I've grown the business through having a routine, how I've developed personally through having routines, famous people that have had routines, why it works, the science behind it. And before you know it, I'd written like 5 pages of notes and thought, I've got something to say here. And for me, that is the main reason that you would put out a book. I know people that put out a book, they put 2 books a year out. Have they got that much to say, or are they just looking to sell more books? I'm fully aware, having put out Big Ideas for Small Businesses, that writing a book isn't going to make us any money. It's going to make some money, but it's not going to make enough money to justify the time investment, above all else. But if I've got something to say on this topic, and actually it can make a lot of our coaching easier, because the amount of times this year where members of the 1% Club, for example, or members of the ALB community on Facebook have had an issue, and I've gone, well, I've answered that in Big Ideas. Let me get a copy out. It's page 37, screenshot, send it up. There you go. I've just answered someone's question that would have taken 10 minutes of my time. I've now referred them to my book and said, look, I've answered this already.
Yeah.
And I couldn't answer it any better, because that was perfectly written prose that I spent ages perfecting. And I thought, actually putting a book out there about routine, because the amount of times we've had that conversation with 1% Club members, for example, you need to get a routine in place. You need to get this in place. You need to do this automatically, consistently, routinely. I'm now going to have a book to refer them to and say, you need to do this. You need to follow the procedure I've set out in chapter 7. And I think I'm excited about it, because I know I've got plenty to say on this topic. We did a 1 hour, well, it was actually about an hour 20, wasn't it? An hour 20 masterclass for our 1%ers on routine yesterday. And by the hour and 10 minute marks, you were giving me we're out of time mark. And I thought, well, I've still got 2 pages of A4 of notes, and I've skipped through it. So I know I've got plenty to say on this topic. I know it can make a big, big difference to so many people out there. who need or crave a little bit of structure in their lives, but maybe are rejecting structure as well. So the book will be out in 2019. I'm aiming for summer. I'll be honest with you, I am aiming for the summer 2019, but I'm not committing to that and saying it's going to be the 21st of June like I did last year or last time. I'm aiming for summer, but it will certainly be out by Christmas.
Awesome.
And don't worry, you will hear plenty about it when it is out.
I'm sure I will. Oh, you mean these guys?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I think my last question is what is the question that you'd hoped I'd asked you? I haven't.
Oh, that's very Rob Moore, isn't it?
Isn't it? I don't know where I've been getting these ideas from.
Which I was asked that question on another podcast, and it's very difficult because I've been asked all sorts of questions as we've been on different podcasts.
When people go on podcasts, they've got a vision, they've got an idea of what they want to get across to the listeners. Or if they go on TV, they do exactly the same. They've got their things to say, and it's just an opportunity. If there's something that you thought I should have asked, or you wanted to cover, or you want to let people know about, or I haven't gone deep enough in one aspect of your life that you'd like to let people know about, it's just that chance for you to do so.
I think so. I mean,
of course, I might have been a perfect interviewer, and you've said everything you wanted to say.
I think you've done very well. Yeah, we've made it to 48 episodes about your interview, so I think we could start there. And, you can just take over now. Talking about outsourcing,
that's marvelous. Isn't
I'll
it?
just find someone else to ask all the questions. I'm just going to sit here next time.
Excellent.
But no, I think in terms of a question you haven't asked, I don't know. I mean, this is at the end of the day, this is our podcast, so we've probably. The listeners to this podcast probably know a lot of what we've talked about before. They learn a lot of our story, our background, our ethos, how we work. If this was a standalone podcast episode, I'd probably say, let's go a bit deeper on the lifestyle aspect. What does an ambitious lifestyle business look like for me? I think you answered it with my answer.
I was going to ask. That was my last question to you. I was going to ask you, what do you think of an ambitious lifestyle business? See, we can compare notes.
We could. Well, as you pinched my answer yesterday, as I actually documented, thankfully,
do read some books.
As I thankfully documented in my 2017 book, so a good 2 years before you came out with the answer. I've perfected that job description, which is to do what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want, if I want. And it is that complete flexibility. And that seems counterproductive with what I've said just now about routine and structure and discipline, to say, actually, I want complete flexibility.
But that's you that's putting that in there.
I'm putting the rules in place. My routine, my rules. Yeah. So that's my flexibility to create all those rules. And I think that's my biggest driver. And I think that's a question we need to ask more people of. What is their main driver? And I think for me, it is not being told what to do.
Super.
I remember the day, and actually, this is a big factor, because on my desk in my office, there's a little calendar. It's like little dice cubes. It was from Deal Group Media. Remember them?
I remember those.
They owing us lots of money. But thankfully, I did get a calendar out of them.
Very kind.
And this calendar, you're meant to change it every single day, but I haven't changed it. So that calendar is set to Monday, 31st of December. And Jack was in my office at the weekend, and he said, this calendar's wrong. It's set to Monday, 31st of December. And I said, no. You need to leave that. He said, well, why don't you set it to the right date? And I explained that is the last day that I had a real job. That is the day that I drove out of the car park at the child support agency here in Plymouth as a civil servant, as an employee, as someone who was being told what to do. And even now, 18 years later, literally, it is now 18 years since I drove out of that car park. That's not 17 years, it was 2001, because I did a little part-time thing first. 17 years later, I've still got a memory on my desk of the exact day that I was last told when I was working, where I was working, how I was going to do the work. And, I wasn't given a choice.
It wasn't an if, you had to do it, didn't you?
That was the last thing. And I remember driving at that car park, and I remember planning it like the month before, and I'd downloaded, I'd burned onto a CD, because we didn't really have like MP3s and Bluetooth in our cars then. So I downloaded onto a CD, the band They Might Be Giants had a song called Boss of Me, which was the theme tune to Malcolm in the Middle.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the main chorus of this song is, "You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now."
Okay.
And I just played that full blast as I drove out the car park. And that, even now, 17 years later, is still the big anchor in my life of, I still remember driving out that car park. You're not the boss of me now. I've got the date set on my desk up there. I do not want to be told what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. And that's my big driver. Hence, time above all else. Don't tell me I've got to fix your Wi-Fi and fix your leaky tap and, I don't know, and anything else that's, forced upon me. I'm going to choose the routine. It's my rules.
Brilliant. John, you've been an absolute pleasure to have on my show today, the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. It's been great to have you here. I might invite you back another time.
Well, it'd be nice to come back,
But we'll see if I can fit you in. But until then, guys, thank you very much for listening and watching when it goes out on the Facebooks. bigidea.co.uk/Facebook. And you should be able to catch up with us again next time.
See you again.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.